Hey guys, happy 2023. Today I want to talk about why I hired my very first coach in January 2 years ago. Now, around this time 2 years ago, I was coming back to my corporate job after the holidays and I was not happy. The constant day to day stress and the vague feeling of, I don't think I'm going in the direction I want, had been building for more than a year. But when I was working every day, I was like a frog in boiling water. The temperature was rising so gradually that I didn't really notice. Stepping away from my job for the holidays and coming back in January showed me just how hot the water had gotten. Waking up with dread every morning, looking at my to do list and feeling totally overwhelmed, feeling like I was faking my way through meetings and just barely fooling everyone, and working all kinds of hours and not liking it, but also feeling so guilty if I ever took a break. After spending 2 weeks relaxing over the holidays, I came back to my normal life and I was like, dang, I live like this? I knew something had to change. But I also felt like I was trying to solve an equation with 10 unknown variables. Should I leave? Okay, but what would I do instead? How would I make money? What path did I want to be on? What if I made a mistake? Okay, should I stay? But how could I make this sustainable? What if my performance suffered? What if I just missed out on chasing my dreams? Every possible solution set off a cascade of confusing new questions. And I was working so much that I barely had the bandwidth to start even answering them, which is why I hired a coach. And here's what she gave me and what I now give to my clients. First off, my coach gave me dedicated time towards figuring this out. I knew that even if I spent the entire week working like crazy, no matter what, 1 hour a week would be dedicated to figuring out what's next. I didn't have to do any homework or thinking or anything outside those calls if I didn't want to. All I had to do was show up to the call, and I was guaranteed to make progress. The second thing my coach gave me was easy ways to break through seemingly impossible questions. All those scary, confusing questions that I was struggling through, she'd seen them before, dozens of times, if not hundreds of times. And she developed simple frameworks, heuristics, and exercises to quickly break through them. Questions like, how do I figure out what I want? Is this a this job problem or a me problem? When should you stay? And when should you leave? What do I do if I don't like any of the options in front of me? How do I test whether or not I'm going to like something without quitting my job and risking everything? When you haven't run into these questions very often, and it's your job and your life, and it all feels very personal, these questions can seem really scary and impossible to answer. So much so that you just shut your eyes and keep living a life that you know isn't right for you. But I know how to break these questions down and answer them. It's not rocket science. It's a simple step by step process built through expertise and experience. And if you follow it, you'll walk straight from confusion and paralysis to confidence, ease, and conviction. The third thing that my coach did for me was that she saw my blind spots. This was the most important thing. I already knew my own thinking. I needed someone who would bring a totally different perspective, someone who would question my assumptions and point out the things that I couldn't see. Because if I knew it all, I would have already solved the problem. And if I hadn't solved the problem, I had to be missing something. And that's exactly what my coach showed me. She showed me, here's what you've been missing. Here's the thing you just couldn't see. Not because it was hidden, but because it was so obvious that you forgot to question it. And when you question it, that's the unlock. So if you're coming back to your job and your normal life this January, and it's made you realize something needs to change, and if you just can't find the time to figure it out, and an hour a week where all you have to do is show up and someone else does the work for you sounds perfect, And if you're curious, hey, what is that one thing that I'm missing? What is the big unlock that's hiding in plain sight? Then come talk to me and let's get started. Go to the link above and book a free coaching consult.